Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I wanted to talk about some things that I wish I knew before I became a plant parent, and some things that might help you out and kind of relieve the tension in this room. Really hard for me, especially when I first started, was not buying plants just based on ones that I liked or how they looked. That kind of came later. I try to buy plants now that are a little harder to take care of, plants that need more attention, stuff like that, just because I've been on this journey for about 2 years now and I feel like I kind of understand it more. But when you first get started, definitely start with something small. I mean, I started with an aloe vera and a golden pothos as my first two plants that kind of pushed me into it. And from there, I really realized that this was fun, something that I really enjoyed to do, and it kind of just turned into a hobby slash obsession. But in the very beginning, you know, monsteras look really pretty, alocasias have a really unique look to them, but they're a little harder to take care of, and you'll probably get discouraged if they die. Obviously, you know, some of these plants cost a lot of money. When you first start out, you don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on a plant that you don't know how to take care of, and then it just dies on you. A good example for me are actually alocasias. I have one right over there, actually holding my phone up right now. Thank you, alocasia. But it's not doing very good. I don't really know why. I don't know how to fix it or what to do to get it to be better. So I'm probably not going to buy another one until I'm a little bit more seasoned with them, I guess. But a year and a half ago, me would have just been like, it's fine, I'll go buy another one. But that plant was like $15. And it died in a couple of months. So $15 every month on a plant that keeps dying isn't really worth it. Kind of going on along with that is it's okay to buy cheap plants. You know, you can go to Walmart or Home Depot, whatever big box store you want to, and buy a cheap plant. As long as it looks nice and you know how to take care of it, a $5 plant and a $500 plant are both going to die the same if you don't know how to take care of it. So I would rather waste my money on a dead $5 plant than a dead $500 plant, because it's just not worth it. Save those big spending plants for when you really know what you're doing and you've done a lot of research. It'll be a lot more worth it in the end. Along with that, I also like to keep a list in my phone. I have like a huge notes list. I've shown it in a previous video of like all of my wish list plants. Whenever I see a plant like on TikTok, or when I'm just out and about, if I see one that I really like but it is kind of expensive, I'll put it on that list and I'll just wait a while. Obviously, I do want to own all of the plants off of my list, but I don't need to buy all of them at once. You know, some people, it's one plant and then by the end of the month it's 200 plants. That's a lot to maintain and to take care of. That's also a lot of knowledge that you have to kind of absorb all at once, because this plant needs this amount of water, this plant needs humidity, this plant needs low light, bright light, all of that stuff. And it kind of gets out of hand if it's all just at once. You know, I live in a kind of big apartment, but the lighting is awful. This room, my bedroom, is the only room that has good lighting, and I share it with my boyfriend, so I have to keep all the plants on my side. That's why I can't have this beautiful, nice like plant background that I would love, just because I use like my plant stand to also hold my phone and film, so I can sit on the bed so our whole room isn't bombarded with plants, and on his side he can get out and whatever, and I have to deal with my plant obsession on my side. So that's kind of how we have it arranged. And it also kind of means that I can't go all out crazy with plants, unfortunately, because this is the only room where I can really put them. I can put some low light plants in our game room, which is our second bedroom, and also in the living room, but the living room gets nearly no light all day, and the game room gets medium light. So I kind of just quarantine plants in there once I get them and bring them in here. But yeah, it obviously, you know, you want to collect all the plants off your list. You want to just have a beautiful green jungle in your house. We all do, I understand. But if I could give you any word of advice, it's to kind of just spread it out, you know? Buying 1 or 2 plants every month, couple of months, really helps you also not like bombard your space with greenery, but you can also learn your plant. It's come to a point where I buy like 3 at a time, and I noticed that I should probably pull back a little bit because it's kind of too much for me to really learn the plant and create kind of a connection with it, rather than like my pothos hanging up there that I've had for 2 years now, I believe, maybe a little more or less, and that one I know everything about it. Like, it's like it talks to me, you know? That's what you want. Like, you want to be able to know your plant inside and out, know what it needs, wants, and stuff like that. That's why getting easy care plants at first also is really nice, just because they tell you what they want. Like a peace lily, we all know how dramatic those are. The leaves start drooping. Oh, it needs water. You know, some plants like my alocasia, I've tried everything. I don't know what's wrong with it, so I kind of just water it and give it humidity and hope somehow that it survives. When you're starting out too, you don't need a bunch of fancy things. Like, you don't need a mister and a really expensive humidifier and beautiful pots to put your plants in and a bunch of other stuff. You know, you can use compost if you have a composting bin outside. Pour some of that into a regular nursing style pot, and your plant will be happy as long as you take care of it. And as far as humidity goes for tropical plants, my humidifier that I have sitting over here was like $10, I think. Is it the best, most beautiful, glorious humidifier ever? No, it doesn't even tell me like humidity percentages. I have to buy a separate thing to put on the wall to be able to tell me that. But it's a humidifier and it gets the job done. Just because this is something that you enjoy doing doesn't mean you have to spend a lot of money on it, because then you won't enjoy doing it anymore. Your pockets will hurt. You'll have plants dying left and right because you don't know where some of them are or what they need, and it's just really not worth it. Another thing that I wish I knew when I started was propagation. Honestly, propagation has been a huge part of my plant journey these last, I'd say 6-7 months now, and it kind of helps me feel like a sense of relief. I have 2 plants from my mother pothos that I propagated, so that plant's always kind of with me, even if something happens to the mother plant. Same thing with my polka dot plant. It's not doing very good right now, so I took some cuttings from it, so I'll always have a piece of that plant with me, and it kind of helps you build a connection to like more plants. It's also a lot cheaper than going out and buying another plant. I mean, if you buy a money plant, for instance, and it's really big and bushy, and like, I really like this, I want another one. Instead of going out and spending $10 more on another one, learn how to propagate it. And for, I think, money plants, you can split the roots, make 2 plants and just pop both of them, and there you have 2. So do research for all the plants that you want to propagate or have another one of. It's super easy to find on the internet. It helps you feel connected to it because that's something that you're growing, doing, taking care of, whatever. You can see the roots grow if you water propagate them, and it really just feels nice to know that about your plant. You also want to make sure that you do research before you buy a plant. I had this problem where I'd be like, that plant's really pretty, I'm gonna buy it. Go home, not know how to take care of it, realize that it's not doing very good, and be like, shit, I need to know how to take care of this plant. And then do a bunch of research after the plant's already kind of not doing too great. It's great to walk into a nursery and be like, this plant is beautiful. Sometimes if I really, really like a plant, I'll just look up really quick, like, what kind of care does it need, to see if I can at least give it that once I bring it home. But for a lot of my plants that I have on my wish list, I know already like what kind of care they need, That's why some of them I don't have, because I wouldn't be able to give them that. And I'll just wait until I'm able to give them the right climate to survive in. Also do research to make sure they're safe for pets. I have a whole video a couple weeks ago talking about that. Sorry, I'll let you go. If you have pets, because some of my plants aren't pet safe, but I have them high up, you just want to make sure that everyone is safe and healthy and happy. Another important thing not only is to just do your research on lighting, soil, pot types, humidity that plants need, stuff like that, but every single website that you go to is going to give you a different answer, is going to give you something different, and you're going to be even more confused than if you just knew nothing going into it. So what I say, look at a couple of different ones, be like, okay, this one says water every 7 days, this one says every 7 to 10 days, and kind of just go with a medium average that you can find and see if that works for you. If not, adjust it and tweak it, but don't only listen to what the internet says, because everywhere is going to be a different answer, just because people have had various different experiences taking care of that one plant. And especially, you know, some of them live in really warm climates, some in cold climates, so they have to water it less or more. You know, I live in Nevada. It's dry, there's no humidity, and it is very hot all the time. Today is like 97. And so I need to water a little bit more than someone who lives in a very humid climate. And I also need to make sure that my humidifier is on, because it gets very, very dry here. Are some things that, you know, the internet can help you with. Troubleshooting what might be wrong with your plant. On my TikTok, you know, I like to talk about my plants, and people will help me be like, hey, this might be wrong, or this might be wrong with your plant. The internet will be like, oh, if you have droopy leaves, it could be this, yellowing leaves are this. And it always gives you a couple different options. So at that point, you kind of just have to be like, this is what I am doing, this is what I'm not doing, and kind of just realize what it could be that's wrong. Like my pothos, I forgot to water it for 2 weeks, sorry. And I noticed that some of the leaves were getting yellow. And I looked it up, yellowing leaves on pothos. What does it mean? Overwatering. Well, obviously it's not overwatering if it hasn't had a drink of water in 2 weeks. So I was like, all right, it's probably just underwatering. I'll give it a good soak and it'll be fine. And it was fine. It's still putting out new leaves. Everything's fine with it. And I know it's not going to die. After a while, you just learn your plants. And that's why I said, that's why I said it's really, really important to not just buy 50 plants at a time, because then you're just going to get overwhelmed and you're not going to know what your plant needs or what it's trying to tell you. Being a plant parent is kind of like a meditative practice, I would say. You know, watering it, taking care of it, nurturing it. It's kind of like having a pet without the annoying parts, besides when it dies or you get bugs. But there's no poop, and it doesn't wake you up at 5 in the morning to bite you. You know, they just sit there, they look nice, and you feel a sense of accomplishment because you took care of it and helped it grow. And that's really the biggest part about being a plant parent. One last tip before I go is that you don't have to buy the biggest type of plant there. You know, if there's like a small pothos and a large pothos, get the smaller one. It's really, really rewarding to watch them grow and change. Like my Monstera Deliciosa that I bought 3 months ago, I think, only had about 7 leaves on it, and now it's doing great. It's really full. It's putting out new leaves like every week, and just the satisfaction I feel from seeing that is so much more worth it than if I were to buy an expensive one that already had split leaves and was already huge, because now I'm sitting here every day anticipating the first split in the leaf, and when it'll put out a new leaf, I'm so excited. So something like that is always fun to keep in mind, just so you can like watch it grow and actually see your hard work come into fruition as the plant grows. Alright, well, she's getting real annoying. So I'm gonna go. I hope you learned something, and if there's anything that you learned when you became a plant parent, or something you wish you learned then that you now know. Leave it down below and let's all help each other out. Have a great week. Don't forget to water your plants, and I'll see you guys next Saturday.